Hi everybody. Today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the magic of joins and a many-to-many relationship in a database. In particular, we're going to have a couple entities that are related to each other via a simple relationship. And my example today, I'm going to have a person or a user, we're going to call them a user, who has a couple different attributes of ID, a first name, and a last name. So we can have a complex attribute here with a first and last name. And then we have a games. Let's get a pen that works. Game table. And in that game table, we're going to have a couple attributes as well. We're going to have an ID, a name of the game, and we're talking video games here. It's just something you're all familiar with. And a published date. And a publisher. Now, on that two entities, we're going to have a relationship about when they were played. And what we have here is a many-to-many relationship. So a game does not need to be played by any users, and a user does not need to play any games. So we'll add an N-to-M relationship here. Now, what a lot of people will attempt to do when doing this sort of model is they will add a multi-valued attribute to this saying when they played the game. What this actually does is it defines that for every time a user played a game, we are going to record multiple dates about when they played it. That is not what we want. Instead, we just need to record a single attribute about when they played the game. So for every instance that a user played a game, we're going to record when that happened. And what I'm going to do is I've already created a database that has some of this data in it, and we're going to show it to you right now. So what I have here is a bunch of users with their IDs, their first name and their last name. And all these are well defined and have an auto increment user ID. I also have in here my game table. And I have a bunch of games, 10 games. Some of them have release, or they all have release dates, and some of them have publishers. Then this is the table from the relationship. What I have in here is the user that played the game that they played, and when they played it. And you'll notice that this user ID 1, played this particular game 1 on multiple different dates. And the way this actually works is because we have a primary key here that is made up of the user ID, the game ID, and the date that it was played. By making all three of those part of the key and making it unique, we can have multiple instances of a user playing a game as long as the date is different. Okay, that part is relatively straightforward. So let's go and look at a simple query. So if we were to go and look at a select star from user and game and the user played, and let's just do user and game to start. What you're going to see is a Cartesian product between these two tables. So we have John played these games, and I can't run the query. Let's try that again. So there we go. We have John Doe playing every game, Sue playing every game, Scott Johnson playing every game, Jeremy Brown playing every game, and so on and so forth, which is not pretty at all useful information. So what we're going to do is join these two things together, or three things actually. We're going to join user and game together, And I'm going to limit the number of attributes that I select. So I'm going to get the first name, last name, the name of the game, and the date it was played from the user, the game, and the user played. And we're going to join the user to when they played it and join when they played it to the game. And what you're going to see here is we get a much more useful result set. So user ID 1 was John Doe. And we can see that he played Last of Us 2 on multiple different dates. He played Ori and the Will of the Wisps on multiple different days. Scott Johnson played Perfect Dark and Half-Life Alyx, while I played Half-Life Alyx and Scott Johnson played Half-Life Alyx on a different day. So all this is now recording every user who had a game played and the date that they played it. So this is an inner join. And you'll see that we have 68 rows returned. Now what we can also do is a left join. I'm not going to do that right now, but what you would see is that we have one user, Lewis Hamilton, who has no games that he played. And if we did a left join with the user here, we would list all the users, even if they never played a game. I will let you write that query on your own. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Now, what we can also do with this query is start doing some basic analytics. So we could do things like order by date played. And now we can find in a result set the games that were most recently played. We could also do things with group bys. So we could find the count of the most popular games and run those. So let's do that. So what we want to get is the name of the game and its count of being played. So the only thing I need is a name and a count of date played. I don't need the username at this point because that would just screw up my group by. So what I'm going to do is group by the name, and what I'm going to get is a result set that shows the name of the game and the most or the number of times it was played. I can then order this, and we're going to rename this attribute as play count, and then we can order by play count. Order by play count. And let's sort that descending so that we can see the most popular game at the top. So now we actually have some useful information from our database, all from a simple many-to-many relationship between our tables. We could even see the most popular games for a particular user. So if I wanted to find out what the most popular game is for, let's say, John Doe, and I'm just going to do last name Doe, actually the Doe family. So now I can have, oops. Let's put that in single quotes. So now I have the most popular games for the Doe family. So Last of Us Part 2 is much more popular than, say, Soul Calibur. So I can start to do some interesting analytics on this, and I have a wealth of information simply because I did a many-to-many join between these. And I can just keep adding things to this query to make it a little more interesting and get specific information. Anyway, that's it for now. I hope this helped you understand a little bit more about how a many-to-many relationship works. and the types of things that you can do with your database when you start getting some data. All right. Hope you have a good rest of your day, and we'll talk to you later.